Welcome back, people. I've just done a video. I've just also deleted that video because that was just didn't work for me. I thought there's got to be something I'm missing with these Mitchell nibs, and I want to get a grips with it and try and get it to work. This is the 2mm nib, and I want to use it with and without the reservoir, because I think the reservoir was causing me issues. I'll tell you that in a minute. But there's the other nibs and one reservoir. It doesn't come in this tin, but I found this little tin of sweets and I put it in there, a brill. So there's that tin there. This is the 2mm. What I was finding was that this reservoir here, when it was attached to the nib itself, the two spines, I think, were getting forced. They were getting like forced to do this technique instead of being sitting like true with it. This thing, I think, after so many rights or whatever, the spines would then do this. Then as I press down, it goes, and it brings the two spines down level, and then goes, and then spews ink everywhere. So is it this reservoir that's causing me the issue? Don't know. Let's find that out. Let's put it in this older that came with the set. I want it down the side, as long as it's in, and they aren't doing anything. So let's try this technique without the holder. The other technique I tried, which didn't work, was this dropper technique. If you can see that, it's got like a dropper, and you put it inside. But I don't think these Mitchell nibs with these reservoirs are the same thing. I don't think this is the same thing. Either way, I did try it with the petite, or if you like, the dropper, and I tried the Waterman's ink. It just didn't want to work. It didn't want to work. So this technique here didn't work for me. That was the whole video, using that dropper. Either way, let's open this up and try for the first time for I don't know how long. I'm going to try without the reservoir. So there is no reservoir on it. And yeah, let's just do this. Let's try without the reservoir. Is it holding ink? I'm going to say it is. You can just make out it's got some ink on it. Can we get it to work without? I think once you get it flowing through that gap, come on, work. Okay, let's try it again without the reservoir. Okay, can we get sharper lines without the reservoir? Can you see this, people? It's actually doing it without the reservoir. That's amazing to see that. It really is. It's actually working without the reservoir, and it's doing exactly the same thing with or without the reservoir. You just can't get that finesse. Do you know what I mean? Okay, another dip, a little shake. Is it the fact that let's try again. Got to keep trying, people. Whether this is a complete failure or not, I'm going to be uploading this, so it's just dumping loads of ink. If you were doing precision work and you wanted to make a nice little line like this and round, you couldn't really do finesse work, could you, really? You know what I mean? It's emptied. So is it? I don't know. It's tough. That's tough, people. Okay, let's put the reservoir on, because that didn't. I thought it would. It was the reservoir that was forcing it to do this technique with the spines, but no. Let's clean that nib best we can, but keep it on the actual thing. Okay, I think that's clean enough. A little dab of this and a little dab of that. Done. I can just make it a little bit of reservoir, but let's pop this on. And that's on now. And it's in the right position. Can you see that? Only just. It's just on. You can just make it out. But there it is, people, with the reservoir on. And I think I've got that the right way round. Let's dip that and try and get a little bit of ink in there. Get rid of the blobs. And then let's try again. But this time round, the spines have done it again. They've gone A-wire again. You know, just went so flexible. And it dumps loads of ink down. I just don't like them. They're doing it again. Maybe a soft touch, real soft. There's no finesse. Am I holding the pen wrong? I don't know. Let's try bringing this pen right up. No, even if you do it this way or that way, you just get this big thick line. And that's it, a big thick line. They're just not there, are they? You know, I want to create this little thin line. I can't create a thin line. And that is almost on the nail where it should be. Yes, it's holding a lot more ink. And you can get a lot more strokes out of it because of that reservoir. As you can see, it's dumping it, spines and all kinds. I just don't like it at all. No, I don't like that pen at all. I'm sorry, but the Mitchell nib, I don't recommend. Even if you were starting out, don't go for Mitchell nibs. There's ink there, I can see it. They're just terrible, people. Absolute terrible. Regardless if, you know, you might be a Mitchell lover, but I think you might like these nibs, but I don't. Sorry, but they are just awful. Absolute awful. So I might just stick with the, yes, they're a bit of a pain, the other nibs, the ones I'm going to talk about in a minute. But as for the Mitchell nib, when it comes to finishing, no, I'm afraid not. Maybe it's the size. Okay, let's try a lower size. No, I must try a different size. Okay, that one's very fine, very fine. And it looks like you could almost use that as is for thinking, but I wanted a broad nib. Let's try that one. I think that'd be like a 1mm. Let's try the 1mm then. Let's pop that in the holder. No, we must do it. We must give it a fair crack of the whip. Get in there. That's it. Then we'll use the same reservoir. That makes no bloody odds, does it? Now let's pop him on. Let's get him where we want him to be. At a smaller size nib. Let's try that bad boy. If that doesn't work, we'll try a thinner one, which is that one there. Come on, give it me. That's it. That one can go back in. He's no good to me. That 2mm no good to me. Let's try the, I think that's a 1mm. That's a 1mm. Let's do it, people. Okay, let's do this. Let's try and get a nice thin line. Okay, we're getting a bit thinner. Let's try. No, she still can't get that finesse. Have I got to do it like at an angle? Am I holding the pen too far close? Let's have a go at that then. But then I can't control the shaking. Oh, look at this. Come on, let's get some more ink in there. But again, you're going to waste a bloody lot of ink to get that blob, and then you just haven't got the finesse. I want to do a very thin line over. It's just dumps it. No, I want to do a very thin line. Not that. That's too thick. No, I want to do a very thin line. That's almost there. But then it does that. No, sorry, but if you were doing this as a finished product or trying to do something with finesse and everything else, that would be a no. So let's get rid of that one. I don't rate that one either. Yeah. Okay. I'm not gonna be beaten. Let's get rid of that nib, because that nib was again the same as that other nib. I'm going to go for a very thin one. There's got to be a nib here that's my nib. Now this nib almost is almost like a pointed nib, but it came with this. You can see the spines opening. Yeah, there's a very fine nib. I think it's the smallest one we've got, or I've got in the set. Let's pop him on. I don't think you're going to get much definition in the sense of the broad sense of it. What's going on with this thing? You went in before. Thank you, that's better. Okay, let's again put the noggin on, because it clearly doesn't work without the noggin. Come on, get in there. It's all fiddly, isn't it? I think that's on. Yeah, right. As you can just see, you can just make it out that there's there. So I'm going to push it up a little bit more. And yeah, looking good to me. That is looking good to me. So let's try that. Is it in the centre? I think it is. Let's have a look if it does this spine technique. Okay, let's try. I reckon you could do copper plate with this one. Maybe. Let's try an upstroke. And then a hard downstroke. Come off. Unless you can do something with this nib. Hey. At least you can get that fine line I wanted. Do you know what I mean? You could do this and then that with this nib. Ah, interesting. That's better. I didn't intend to look for thin and thick lines nibs, but actually this nib isn't that bad. Okay, let's try another. Okay, let's have an upstroke, and then we're going to try pushing it up like you would do a copper plate G. So you come up with the O. Oh, it's just dumped loads. Not too bad. I'll try again. Don't worry, people. I'm not doing this for the. I'm not doing this for the copper plate. Okay, let's try the. That is quite nice, actually. If you were writing very fine lettering, when it comes to really fine lettering, you could make this work. What's that other one? Oh, you got the A, haven't you? So you do a circle first that turns up, and then this comes over, and then it comes straight down, and then twist it and come up. Okay, that works. I like this nib. This ain't bad. This nib isn't bad. Let's try that one again. Get rid of the blob. Well, there is no blob. There is no blob with this one. Yeah, you can just make out a blob on there. Let's get rid of that blob. That's better. Is he? I don't know. Let's try again, that H. Where is that sheet? Where's that book? There he is. We get the rotunda out. I think it was 154. Rotunda minuscule. Here it is. Remember that funky A? 1, 2, and then over, and then thingy. Let's give that A go with this pen. Okay, I can just make it out. I've got nowhere to put it, see. So I'm assuming we've got ink in. We'll just get re-ink it and we'll try and do that A. Okay, so the first stroke is this stroke. Can you see this? Only just. You come down hard. You come down. You do this. And this has to go under the knuckle. So this is the, like that. And then this comes over. Oh, it dumped loads down. So you can't do really broad nib with this thing, but you could get away with doing some sort of script, but not broad nib. It's just terrible, isn't it? It's just terrible. Yes, you could get away with doing something of that nature, you know. But again, it's like ripping the paper. No, I don't like them, people. I don't like the Mitchell nib. I'm sorry. I can keep trying different nibs. Where's that thing gone? There. No. I don't like this holder. It's just awful. It's just awful. Every nib is just awful. Is it this? Like I said, is it the size of the nib? Well, I've just tried the smallest one, and I can't do any broad nib calligraphy with it. It didn't want to work. I've tried the 2mm, which I thought was like middle of the road. There's some big nibs in that box. Big nibs, real big nibs. But I still think it would have the issue. Let's have a look at these nibs. There's the other holder. That there, no difference. That's the biggest one I can see. Or could be that one. That's got to take like a little. No, that is the biggest. The biggest nib is that one there. So let's try the biggest nib. Let's see if that makes a difference, having more broad edge to it. I don't know. I'm going to keep trying. This is the last one I'm going to try, people. But at the moment, I'm not happy with any of it. So this nib is quite a big nib. Very big nib. You can't see it like that. You can now. So it's quite a big nib. And the spines do open a little bit. As you can see that. So let's put it in this holder. See, I'd rather do it like this before I add thingy. You can just make out the opening. It's quite a big nib. Let's put this on again. I've got to keep trying, and if it doesn't work, then I'm not going to use the Mitchell nibs ever again. Was it worth buying? I think it was, because if I can find some technique to using them, I don't know. Any tips, let me know. I think that's about right. That's about just off the edge of it. And I think I've put that on right. And this is one hell of a size nib. That's the biggest. Let's have a look. Come on, ruler. It is, bloody hell, almost 3 to 4 mil, this is. Damn. Again, the spines are popping. Okay, people. Okay, if you come up here and just do some basic strokes. Yeah, okay. Some basic strokes with lines. It's getting it to flow, isn't it? Slowing down didn't work. Oh dear. It's just awful. Let's get rid of that blob, because there's always a blob. can we get finesse? So let's do that A again. No. Then it sort of does this. You got to sort of twist this on. No. It's just awful. Let's try it again. No, didn't want work that. I can't, I don't know, people. Get rid of that first lot of ink. Let's try again. First stroke. And then you come straight down with the stroke. And then you do that move, which is just terrible. No, it's just awful. Absolute awful. No, that's it. That's it, people. This was a car crash, basically, wasn't it? That there's just awful. Don't use them. I actually say no. If you're learning calligraphy and you want broad nib, right, and you want to learn broad nib, then do not buy the Mitchell set. Sorry, Mitchell, but they're too flexible. If they're a bit stiffer, the nib, I think it would work. But because they're so flexible, maybe I'm doing it. If you can see that I've done this wrong, let me know. Give me the tips, because this is just awful. Then you can just go into say this nib, for instance. This nib's quite stiff, doesn't open. It's got a lovely nib, and you can do the very fine work. Let's do that move, and then down, and then over. Then we can do this move, down, and there's the A. How nice is that? Even with this nib, which is, it isn't perfect, but compare that to the other one. I'll try again. Then you come down, and then you do that move, and then again, I think that what the only other pen that actually I could create that letter was the parallel, which is I'll show you that now anyway as we finish, to show you that I can actually form the bloody rotunda A. Let's face it, I can with this thing. You know what I mean? Here we go. I think it was over 3 lines, so let's go over here. We start there, we come over, we bring that down to the 3rd line, we then go over, we then bring that over below the knuckle, we come over, and there's the A, people. You can do it, you see. Down, down, over, below the knuckle, over, and in. And there's the rotunda A. So, you know what I mean? If you have the right tools, you can actually do a good job of it. But these Mitchell nibs, I'm sorry, but they are awful. Just awful. None of it worked. It's a complete failure. But they are, people. I am saying I am beaten. I am beaten with these Mitchell nibs. I don't like them. I'd rather get these shakier pens every time they finish, and then what I'll do is I'll just have to clean them and scrub them, and then put a new one in. That way, then I can always produce clean, crisp lines and not dipping. So if I helped you out at all, don't buy the Mitchell set. Or if you want to test it for yourselves, go and buy it. Do you know what I mean? But I say don't. Buy yourself parallels, buy yourself the Schaefer pens for broad nib, or buy yourself a good solid broad nib, quality broad nib. And I think that's where I think I need to go to. If I want to be able to use the dip technology, and use it for dip pens as a broad nib, I might have to invest in a decent broad nib. Do you know what I mean? One you can actually get on, one you can actually dip in and do it. But hopefully, people, you found this informative and entertaining, because this was again a car crash exactly the same as it was in the last video. In what, the one I deleted. So I don't know, people. If you've got any tips how to use these bloody Mitchell nibs, let me know, people, and I look forward to your comments. Thanks, guys. Thanks for watching. Bye now.